SHOT Show 2026 is officially here, and the convention floor is hitting the industry significantly harder than anyone anticipated. We are not standing around looking at minor cosmetic updates, lazy terracotta reskins, or budget brands trying to pass off cheap polymer as tactical innovation. This year, the global firearms market is pushing serious engineering boundaries, forcing us to look at things like aerospace-grade titanium alloys in long-range platforms, complete metal frame overhauls of duty pistols that have carried law enforcement lines for a decade, and radical shifts in combat support weapons. I have spent the last few days digging through the early announcements, completely bypassing the corporate marketing fluff, and tearing down the mechanical data that actually matters when you are behind the trigger on a freezing morning. We are breaking down 12 of the most significant disruptive firearm announcements shaping the defensive and competitive space right now. There is absolutely zero sponsored hype here, no scripted talking points from the manufacturers, just pure iron, hard-use logistics, and real-world ballistics. If you are looking for the tools that are genuinely changing the landscape of American firearms culture this year, you are in the right place. Number 12. Mossberg 590 Professional Series. When you need a defensive scattergun that absolutely refuses to quit when the world goes sideways, the legendary Mossberg 590 footprint is universally recognized as the gold standard for pump action reliability. For 2026, the engineers in Connecticut are taking that combat-proven foundation and elevating it to a high-volume tactical tier with the introduction of the Professional Series. Now, they did not just slap a standard railed forend or a budget flashlight on this setup and call it a day. The massive mechanical evolution here centers around a factory-machined, low-profile, optics-ready receiver. Instead of forcing shooters to rely on sketchy aftermarket Picatinny rails or delicate optic plates that are prone to shearing off under the violent structural stress of heavy 12-gauge recoil, Mossberg has cut a dedicated footprint directly into the top of the aluminum alloy receiver. This allows you to mount a duty-grade red dot extraordinarily low to the bore axis, perfectly co-witnessing with the newly upgraded, high-visibility ghost ring iron sights. Internally, the dual action bars, the carrier assembly, and the entire lifter mechanism have been treated with a proprietary anti-corrosion, low-friction ceramic coating. This specific engineering choice is designed to handle extended tactical training cycles of 500 rounds or more without requiring a constant bath in CLP, dramatically mitigating the standard parts wear and friction heat that typically bogs down a stock pump shotgun. When you rack this action, the pump stroke feels significantly more slick, precise, and controlled right out of the box. This completely changes the mechanical feedback to the shooter, reducing internal resistance of the slide and virtually eliminating the catastrophic risk of a short stroke when your adrenaline is spiking during a home defense scenario. Furthermore, they have heavily reinforced the magazine tube spring retention system and the dual extractors on the bolt face, ensuring flawless, aggressive extraction and positive feeding whether you are running low-recoil tactical buckshot, high-velocity birdshot, or heavy 3-inch magnum slugs designed to stop a threat instantly. It is a zero-nonsense, heavy-duty defensive tool, engineered specifically for shooters who demand top-tier, duty-ready performance straight from the factory shipping box without needing a laundry list of expensive aftermarket modifications. Number 11. Sig Sauer Cross Magnum 308. Now, if you have been keeping tabs on the precision bolt-action market, you know exactly how much of a splash the original Cross platform made for backcountry hunters and tactical precision shooters. But for 2026, Sig Sauer is throwing a massive curveball into the mix with the Cross Magnum chambered in the ubiquitous, hard-hitting 45 ACP sibling, the 308 Winchester cartridge. What the engineers did here is brilliant. They took the oversized, heavy-duty Magnum receiver architecture, originally designed to handle the massive chamber pressures of cartridges like the 300 Winchester Magnum, and down-converted it specifically for the 308 cartridge footprint. This means you are getting an ultra-rugged, over-engineered lockup with a massive 3-lug bolt that has a short, 60-degree lift. The internal stress on the receiver is practically non-existent, meaning your parts wear over 10,000 rounds is going to be virtually zero because the action is built to contain pressures far exceeding the standard 62,000 psi of the 308 round. They have paired this bulletproof receiver with a 20-inch, heavy contour, user-changeable barrel that features a massive 58 by 24 threaded muzzle. making it an absolute dream for anyone looking to run a heavy-duty titanium suppressor. The handguard is a fully free-floated, full-length aluminum M-lock system that locks up securely to the receiver body, ensuring absolutely zero point of impact shift, even if you are heavily loading up a bipod on a jagged rock face. But the crown jewel of this mechanical setup is the match-grade, two-stage trigger. It features a crisp, clean break right at an adjustable 2.5 pounds, giving you the kind of mechanical predictability required to squeeze out every ounce of ballistics accuracy when you are stretching the .308 cartridge past the 800-yard mark. Combine that with a fully skeletonized, folding aluminum stock that locks up like a bank vault door, and you have a precision tactical rifle that offers magnum-level durability in a package that weighs under 8 pounds empty. It is light enough to hike up a mountain ridge, but robust enough to spend an entire weekend taking a beating at a long-range precision rifle match without dropping a single millimeter of accuracy. Number 10. Beretta 1301 Mod 2 Tactical. When you look at the evolution of the modern semi-automatic tactical shotgun, Beretta has been dominating a massive portion of the defensive market with their original 1301 platform, thanks to that blindingly fast B-Blink gas piston operating system. But as many hard-use shooters and tactical instructors noted over years of running drills, the original setup had a few mechanical quirks that kept it from being absolutely perfect. For 2026, the Italian engineers have answered that feedback directly with the Mod 2 Tactical, and they did not just do a surface-level facelift. They went deep into the gun's structural anatomy to solve real-world durability and ergonomic issues. The first critical mechanical overhaul is the completely redesigned folding stock hinge mechanism. On the previous iteration, high-volume fire with heavy 12-gauge defense loads or tactical slugs created immense linear stress, which occasionally caused the stock locking block to develop slight play or even collapse under extreme structural pressure. The Mod 2 features a heavily reinforced, steel-on-steel locking interface that completely mitigates this failure point, ensuring a rock-solid weld against your shoulder that feels like a fixed stock. Next up is the foreign thermal management. Anyone who has taken a high round count shotgun course knows that the gas piston assembly radiates an immense amount of heat directly into the handguard, turning it into a literal branding iron after 40 or 50 fast rounds. Beretta has implemented an internal polymer heat shield inside the redesigned fore-end, completely isolating the shooter's support hand from the gas block. This allows you to run full-pace tactical manipulation drills all day without needing heavy thermal gloves. They have also altered the geometry of the lifter and loading port. The loading gate now features a smart, non-snagging architecture that stays up out of the way when you are shoving twin shells into the tube, dramatically speeding up combat reloads under high-stress conditions. Combined with an enlarged bolt release lever and an oversized charging handle, the entire control suite feels far more deliberate and tactile. The cold hammer forged barrel has been treated with a specialized matte Aquatech coating that shrugs off heavy environmental corrosion, sweat, and carbon buildup, maintaining tight choke tolerances and a smooth bore even after thousands of cycles of high-velocity buckshot. This is not a shotgun built for show. It is a meticulously refined, ultra-fast defensive machine engineered to cycle every single time you press the trigger, no matter how harsh the training environment gets. Number 9. HK-P7M13 Pro Slim. If you are a student of combat handgun history, the mere mention of Heckler & Koch's P7 platform is enough to make your ears perk up. It is arguably one of the most mechanically unique, German-engineered masterpieces ever conceived. But due to production halting years ago, original models turned into hyper-expensive collector pieces that spent their lives locked away in climate-controlled safes, instead of getting dirty on the range. For 2026, H&K is breaking the internet by resurrecting this legendary footprint with the P7M13 Pro Slim. The engineering team did something incredibly respectful here. They maintained 100% parts compatibility with the internal mechanical architecture of the classic vintage M13. But they completely overhauled the external manufacturing processes using modern aerospace-grade metallurgy to fix the historical Achilles heel of the platform. For those unfamiliar with the P7 anatomy, it operates on a unique gas-delayed blowback system paired with a front strap squeeze-cocker mechanism. When you wrap your hand around the grip, depressing the front lever naturally cocks the internal firing pin. The moment you release your grip, the weapon is instantly completely safe. Because the barrel is pinned permanently directly into the steel frame, the mechanical accuracy potential of this platform is fundamentally superior to almost any tilting barrel Browning design on the market. However, in the old days, that gas cylinder located right underneath the chamber would heat up the frame like a hot coal after just 3 magazines. To address this, H&K has integrated an advanced, low-mass ceramic heat shield insert around the gas piston channel and machined the entire frame with a slightly slimmer profile out of a proprietary high-strength aluminum alloy. This shaves significant weight off the classic platform while dramatically extending the time you can spend shooting before thermal transfer forces you to let the gun cool down. They also added a subtly integrated accessory rail on the dust cover and applied an ultra-durable diamond-like carbon coating over the slide components to prevent parts wear under high cycle conditions. With an expected price tag north of $3,000, it is absolutely a premium specialized tool, but it gives serious shooters a chance to carry a modern, high-capacity, exceptionally flat-shooting tactical piece with an incredible mechanical heritage. Number 8. Korean K2 Civilian Rifle. If you are tired of the endless mind-numbing sea of identical AR-15 clones flooding the market, the civilian legal import of the South Korean 2 rifle is a massive breath of fresh air for 2026. For decades, this rugged platform has been the absolute backbone of the Republic of Korea Armed Forces, earning a legendary reputation for unfailing reliability in the harshest mud and freezing mountain environments. What makes the K2 mechanical architecture so brilliant is that it is a true engineering hybrid. It perfectly fuses the precise ergonomics, direct drop-in magazine compatibility, and accuracy potential of the American M16 with the ultra-robust, long stroke gas piston operating system of the Soviet AK-47. It is a design engineered from the ground up to take a horrific amount of abuse without inducing a failure to extract or a double feed malfunction. Until this year, finding a proper factory-fresh K2 in the United States meant scouring online auction blocks and paying astronomical collector premiums for worn-out 80s imports. This new semi-automatic civilian configuration lands stateside with serious structural upgrades tailored for the modern tactical shooter. The receiver is forged from high-grade aluminum alloy, housing a cold hammer-forged, chrome-lined barrel with a 1-in-7 twist rate, purpose-built to stabilize heavy-duty 62 grains and 77 grain 5.56 NATO projectiles. Because it utilizes that long-stroke piston system, carbon fouling is vented completely forward, out of the gas block, keeping the bolt carrier group running exceptionally clean and cool even after 1,000 rounds of rapid-fire suppressive drills. The engineers have also modernized the platform by ditching the old-school plastic handguard for a rigid aluminum M-lock handguard that gives you plenty of real estate for tactical lights and lasers. It retains the classic, heavy-duty side-folding stock mechanism, which locks up with zero mechanical play, allowing you to compress the rifle's footprint dramatically for vehicular operations or tight storage. The trigger group has been cleaned up as well, breaking at a predictable 5 pounds with a very positive, distinct reset that AK and AR guys can both appreciate. It is a battle-proven, historical warhorse, wrapped in a highly practical, modern layout that offers bulletproof long-stroke reliability without sacrificing the modularity and familiarity of a modern defensive carbine. Number 7. Smith & Wesson M&P 9M 2.0 Metal FDE. When Smith & Wesson first experimented with bringing an aluminum frame to their highly decorated M&P polymer striker-fired lineage, serious duty and competition shooters instantly recognized the massive mechanical advantage. For 2026, they are taking that structural evolution a step further by dropping the M&P 9M 2.0 metal in full flat dark earth. Now, this is not just a cosmetic paint job designed to look cool in a holster. The entire chassis is machined from high-strength T6 aluminum, which fundamentally alters the physics of how this handgun handles recoil energy. By replacing the flexible polymer frame with rigid metal, the engineers have added just enough strategic weight to the lower half of the gun to completely alter its center of gravity. Under rapid fire, this rigid metal structure drastically reduces frame flex and dampens the linear snap of the slide cycling back, keeping your red dot tracking completely flat and predictable through long, punishing strings of fire. Internally, the gun features an extended stainless steel chassis embedded into the frame, minimizing internal parts wear and maintaining precise slide-to-frame tolerances even after tens of thousands of rounds. The barrel is a 4¼ inch cold hammer-forged bore with a tactical 1 in 10 twist rate, featuring their traditional low-profile slide geometry that sits incredibly low in the hand. The factory optics-ready cut on the slide is executed perfectly, utilizing their updated direct mounting interface that completely eliminates the need for stackable aftermarket adapter plates, which are notorious for warping or developing thread strip under hard-duty abuse. They have paired this rigid platform with their flat-faced M2.0 trigger, which delivers an exceptionally clean, crisp break at around 4.5 pounds, followed by an incredibly short, tactile reset. The metal frame also retains the classic M&P ergonomics, but utilizes texturized polymer interchangeable back straps, so you can perfectly customize your grip angle without sacrificing the ultra-rugged, unyielding feel of a solid metal duty gun. Number 6. Springfield Integrally Compensated Pistol. In the defensive handgun world, the debate between running a completely stock duty gun or a heavily modified compensated pistol has been raging for years. For 2026, Springfield is completely rewriting the script by bypassing the aftermarket altogether and dropping a factory-engineered, integrally compensated design. Now, instead of threading a separate bulky compensator onto the end of an extended barrel, which adds significant length, increases the risk of the muzzle device backing out under high thermal cycles, and introduces major snag hazards for your defensive holster, Springfield's engineering team has chosen a fundamentally different path. They are machining the expansion chamber and expansion ports directly into the structural architecture of the slide and barrel assembly itself. This integral configuration is a masterclass in gas dynamics. When a 9mm round is ignited, generating massive pressures upward of 35,000 psi, the expanding gases are specifically channeled through precision-engineered vertical ports before the slide even begins its rearward travel. This creates a powerful downward force that actively counteracts muzzle flip, allowing the shooter to drive the handgun through lightning-fast double taps with virtually zero vertical deviation of the red dot. Because the compensator is integrated seamlessly into the existing factory slide profile, you do not suffer from the front-heavy imbalance typical of traditional race guns. Furthermore, by avoiding a threaded barrel setup, they have kept the overall reciprocating mass of the slide incredibly balanced, ensuring that the weapon cycles flawlessly with standard 115-grain target ammunition, as well as high-pressure, plus P defensive duty loads. The slide geometry has been aggressively scalloped around the ports to prevent carbon and copper shaving from fouling your front sight lens, and the internal barrel rifling is optimized to maintain match-grade accuracy out to 25 yards despite the gas bleed-off. It is a highly sophisticated, duty-ready performance pistol that bridges the gap between raw tactical speed and absolute mechanical reliability. Number 5. Shadow Systems DR920P Elite. For shooters who want a completely flat-shooting tactical handgun without the hassle of a traditional screw-on compensator, Shadow Systems is hitting the target perfectly with the DR920P Elite. Now, many people look at this brand and think it is just another customized Glock clone, but the internal engineering and gas dynamics tell a completely different story. The P in the designation stands for ported, but the execution here is highly sophisticated. Instead of cutting ports into a standard factory barrel and slide, Shadow Systems has engineered a proprietary ultra-compact muzzle compensator that aligns perfectly with the slide profile. It attaches via a unique pin-mounted retention system rather than traditional threads, meaning you never have to worry about the device backing out or shifting your point of impact after a hard 1,000-round training weekend. The mechanical magic happens when the bullet leaves the crown of the barrel. High-pressure gases are forcefully redirected upward through a single large top expansion port, exerting a massive downward force that drives the front sight back down onto the target almost instantaneously. Because the compensator is incredibly low mass, the reciprocating weight of the slide remains perfectly balanced. This ensures the pistol maintains total cycling reliability, with standard 115-grain target ammo up to heavy-duty loads, bypassing the traditional spring tuning headaches that plague most aftermarket comp setups. The Elite slide features aggressive, deeply machined serrations that provide a rock-solid gripping surface, even with wet hands or heavy gloves, alongside weight-reducing window cuts that help cool the barrel under rapid fire. The frame features their signature NSS backstrap system, which allows you to completely alter the actual grip angle, not just the thickness, to match your natural point of aim perfectly. Combined with a crisp, flat-faced aluminum trigger breaking cleanly at 4.5 pounds, and their legendary direct-to-slide multi-footprint optic mounting system, this machine is purpose-built to deliver lightning-fast, highly controlled follow-up shots straight out of the box. Number 4. Lago Alien Remus. If you have a taste for hyper-engineered, high-end European pistols, you are already well aware of how Lago Arms completely shattered the traditional handgun design playbook with their original platform. But for 2026, they are pushing the boundaries of custom machining even further with the introduction of the Alien Remus. Now, let us be completely honest right out of the gate. Carrying an MSRP north of $6,000, this is absolutely an ultra-premium boutique piece, engineered for collectors, high-level competition shooters, and enthusiasts who demand absolute engineering perfection. But when you dive deep into the mechanical architecture of what Jan Luchansky created here, you realize it is worth every single penny of its jaw-dropping price tag. The primary structural triumph of the Remus centers around its radically inverted anatomy. The cold hammer-forged 4-inch barrel is pinned permanently directly into the lower frame and sits completely upside down compared to a standard Browning-style tilting lock pistol. This gives the Remus a negative .07-inch bore 4-axis, which is officially the lowest bore axis of any production handgun on the planet. Because the barrel does not tilt or drop during the cycling process, the mechanical accuracy potential is virtually mathematically perfect out to 50 yards. The recoil operating system relies on a highly advanced gas-delayed blowback piston assembly located right above the chamber. When a 9mm round detonates, high-pressure gas is diverted through a microscopic bleed hole into a cylinder, mechanically slowing down the rearward movement of the low-mass internal slide until the chamber pressures drop to a completely safe level. What this means for the shooter is a radical reduction in physical muzzle flip. We are talking less than 5 degrees of total upward movement under rapid fire. Furthermore, the top rail of this handgun is completely separate from the cycling slide mass. It is a stationary, non-reciprocating optical rail, meaning your red dot sight stays perfectly frozen in place while the slide cycles violently underneath it. This completely eliminates the brutal G-forces and structural shock that typically smash slide-mounted red dots, dramatically reducing internal optic parts wear and allowing your eyes to track the red dot effortlessly without losing it for even a microsecond. New for 2026, Lago has also answered the desperate prayers of southpaw shooters by releasing a true, mirror-image left-handed configuration. Because the Alien ejects spin cases violently upward and out, left-handed shooters running right-handed models would occasionally have their support hand block the path, causing catastrophic stovepipe malfunctions. The new mirrored version flips the entire gas block, internal inverted hammer, and ejection path to guarantee flawless structural cycling for lefties. Every single internal component is meticulously diamond-like carbon coated to eliminate metal-on-metal friction, resulting in a match-grade trigger pull that breaks like a glass rod at an astonishingly crisp 2.5 pounds. It is a mesmerizing showcase of uncompromising mechanical art that proves true innovation does not have to play by the industry's traditional rules. Number 3. Glock 42X Tactical. When you look at the everyday carry landscape, subcompact and microcompact polymer frames have completely dominated the market for the last few years. But let us be totally blunt. Pushing high-pressure 9mm defensive rounds out of an ultra-lightweight, snappy microframe is not a pleasant experience for most civilian shooters, often resulting in severe muzzle snips and sluggish follow-up shots. For 2026, Glock is silently delivering the exact mechanical answer the concealed carry market has been begging for, with the introduction of the Glock 42X Tactical. What the Austrian engineers have executed here is a masterclass in defensive ergonomics. They took the highly successful slimline frame geometry, originally popularized by the 43TX, and re-engineered it from the ground up around the softer-shooting 380 ACP cartridge profile. By elongating the grip profile to match the 43X dimensions while maintaining the ultra-slim, single-stack width of the original 42, they have created a platform that gives your support hand absolute, complete mechanical purchase on the gun. This structural chain completely redistributes the felt recoil impulse. Instead of the sharp linear drive into the web of your thumb typical of micro 9mm frames, the 42X Tactical feels more like a heavy-duty target rimfire pistol on the range, allowing the shooter to track the sights effortlessly through rapid-fire tactical defense drills. Internally, it utilizes the Combat Proven Safe Action System with 3 automatic mechanical safeties that disengage sequentially as the flat-faced trigger shoe is depressed. Glock has treated the slide with an advanced, non-reflective gas nitride surface refinement that penetrates deep into the metallurgy, rendering the steel virtually immune to saltwater corrosion and daily sweat wear from deep inside the waistband carrying. The slide comes factory optics ready with a low-profile cut that sits directly ahead of the reduced dimension rear sights, ensuring you can drop a micro red dot low enough to utilize standard iron sights if your electronics fail. On the dust cover, they have finally added a proper standardized tactical accessory rail. This completely eliminates the need for proprietary aftermarket clamping systems that distort the polymer frame over time, allowing you to mount duty-grade compact weapon lights securely. Combined with a cold hammer-forged polygonal barrel that optimizes gas seal for increased projectile velocity and a reversible enlarged magazine catch for left-handed capability, the 42X Tactical transitions the 380 platform from a snappy backup pocket piece into a high-capacity, exceptionally flat-shooting primary defensive tool. Number 2. FN True Velocity 338 Norma Magnum LMG. When you look at the landscape of modern military support weapons, the gap between a standard 7.62 NATO machine gun and a massive 50 caliber heavy platform has always been a massive logistical headache. For 2026, FN and True Velocity are completely shattering that paradigm by teaming up on a lightweight medium machine gun chambered in the devastating 338 Norma Magnum. The mechanical claim being proven on the floor right now is absolutely staggering. This platform delivers genuine 50 caliber effective reach, kinetic energy, and barrier penetration, but it is housed inside a weapon system with a structural footprint and weight class incredibly close to a traditional 24Z medium machine gun. The primary engineering catalyst behind this massive leap in capability is the integration of True Velocity's advanced, composite polymer-cased ammunition. By substituting heavy brass for a high-strength, thermally insulative polymer case, they have cut the overall weight of the ammunition link by over 30%. More importantly, polymer does not transfer burning powder heat into the chamber metallurgy during ignition like brass does. Instead, the polymer case acts as a thermal barrier, venting the heat out of the ejection port with the spent hull. This dramatically reduces barrel and chamber parts wear, allowing the weapon to sustain high rates of fire without forcing the operator to swap out a white-hot barrel every few hundred rounds. FN has paired this revolutionary ammunition tech with an incredibly sophisticated, proprietary recoil mitigation operating system. The entire barrel and gas assembly actively reciprocate linearly within the receiver frame under fire, absorbing and dispersing the massive peak recoil impulse before it ever reaches the shooter's shoulder or the tripod mount. The result is an ultra-stable, long-range suppressive tool that allows an operator to keep a high magnification optic completely on target during full auto strings. It is an absolute masterpiece of combat engineering that changes the logistics of squad-level firepower forever. Number 1. Marlin 1895 Dark Series. A rifle that perfectly respects its deep American heritage while aggressively embracing the practical tactical upgrades that modern hard-use shooters actually demand. We are talking about the Marlin 1895 Dark Series, chambered in the devastating, bone-crushing 4570 government cartridge. Now, some traditionalists might look at a tactical lever gun and think it is just a passing industry gimmick, but the real-world mechanical physics and structural engineering on this platform tell a completely different story. Marlin has taken a fundamentally bulletproof big-bore mechanism and completely modernized it for today's defensive and backcountry survival scenarios. The primary structural evolution centers around the barrel and handguard interface. They have replaced the classic wood furniture with a rigid, ultra-lightweight aluminum M-lock handguard system that wraps securely around a 16.1-inch cold hammer-forged barrel. This barrel features a clean, high-precision 11-degree target crown and comes factory-threaded with a massive 11/16 by 24 pitch, allowing you to easily screw on a heavy-duty silencer to tame the deafening acoustic signature of the 4570 round. Internally, the bolt has been aggressively fluted to reduce friction, capture debris, and prevent binding when you cycle the action hard in muddy or freezing environments. They have also applied a stealthy, ultra-durable black Cerakote finish across all the primary steel components, making the metallurgy virtually impervious to brutal weather, sweat, and caustic carbon buildup. The oversized loop lever has been wrapped in heavy-duty paracord to provide a positive, non-slip mechanical interface, ensuring you can aggressively run the action even with thick winter gloves on. Combined with an integrated top Picatinny rail for your optics, a crisp single-stage trigger that breaks cleanly with zero creep, and a robust cheek riser on the nylon-reinforced stock, this rifle is an absolute hammer. It gives you muzzle velocity energy that can drop a grizzly bear or stop a vehicular threat instantly, packaged inside an exceptionally fast, ultra-reliable, compact platform that never relies on a battery or a gas tube to cycle. It is a masterpiece of modern lever gun engineering, and it is easily the most compelling rifle layout dominating the floor this year. That wraps up our tactical breakdown of the 12 absolute powerhouses dominating the floor. Look, SHOT Show 2026 is drawing a massive line in the sand. The days of accepting generic, out-of-the-box mediocrity are officially over. Whether you are ready to drop serious cash on an exotic European race gun, deploy a heavy-duty pump workhorse to secure your perimeter, or hunt deep backcountry with a modern, suppressed lever gun, the game has officially evolved. The question isn't whether the industry is ready. It's whether your wallet and your training can keep up with the iron we saw today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below on which of these 12 builds is taking your top spot. Stay sharp.